Shri Baba ki Jai. All my love and blessings to Abhishek. Good to see you, my dear. So much love. Let's look at some questions today if there are any. I have some from Facebook otherwise. What you can do is just mention that you want to come up and I can call on you. So he wants to come? Yes, he can come. Come.
Namaste, sir.
Okay, namaste, my dear.
So Papa has been telling me for a long time that I should join Satsang and talk to you because honestly, I'm also quite confused myself about a lot of things in my life at this point, and I'm not really seeing a way out. And he has been adamant that I can come ask you for help, and you're the best person to help me. So here I am.
Very sweet report. So when you say that I cannot find a way out, is it because of certain life situations that you feel like you're stuck with, or what is it that you're finding yourself stuck in? Is it a life event? Is it some thoughts? Is it some emotions? What is binding you?
It's not a singular event or a situation or a thought. It's an amalgamation of a lot of things that have been going on in my life. Not exactly outside, but the way I've taken to things, reacted, taken decisions. For the past, I would say close to a decade or more or so. And of late, I've been spending a lot of time at home, and I've been just sort of started coming to terms, and they're like revelations to me of whatever happened in my life. But and how I arrived at a point where I don't know where to go or how to how to help myself, and I realized that to some extent I've been realizing the mistakes that I made in a lot of situations, a lot of places, due to action, due to inaction, and just I've just been harming myself for a long time because of holding on to a lot of things that have happened to me in the past, which were very visibly something that don't happen to a lot of people, but they came and they went, but I did not. I mean, I'm still there. I'm still stuck in 2011. I'm still stuck in 2013 or 14. I'm still stuck in 2016. I'm still stuck in graduation. I'm still stuck in freshers party. I'm still stuck in a lot of those places, and they've just ruled my life now. And honestly, I don't really recognize myself. You know, um, I mean, what I want. I cannot take simple decisions. There's too much thought involved. And my father, he's been to, I mean, to say that he's been schooling me for some time. He's been teaching me for some time on a lot of things that I think that you've passed on to him. And so, I mean, yeah. So I've just been stuck in those places, and I'd like to be free. I'd like to be able to move on because I realize there's nothing that it's all me basically at this point. Actually, it's always been me, and yeah. And also that I wanted to apologize for the last time I met you. I wasn't. I think I wasn't very polite, but it's also because of the fact that I wasn't really. Um I wasn't there by my choice.
I
And
didn't find you impolite at all, but I did have the feeling that you were dragged into the meeting. I did understand that. It's
yes.
completely. My parents have also dragged me throughout my childhood to all sorts of satsangs that I didn't want to go, and many temples I didn't want to visit really. So I can understand, but you were perfectly polite. You were perfectly polite. So let's come to this the report, which is very good, very straight from the heart. Now you said that something which really caught my attention, which was I just want to be free. I just want to be free. And it is this freedom that we speak of every day in satsang. Now, but if there is to say something like there is a prerequisite to this freedom, and the prerequisite is whether you're open to the idea that you might not be who or what you think you are. If you're open to that idea that you might not be who you think you are, then freedom is super simple. But if you're close to the idea, if you're clear that I am Abhishek, I am this body mind, and this body mind must find something that it defines as freedom. It means that for the body mind, what would freedom be? I must be free to think what I want, I must be free to do what I want. But this is not the freedom that we are talking about. The freedom is really that freedom to see that, and you said something like this, I don't know if you meant it in the same way. You said that it's all me. So this freedom is to see that all of this is an aspect of you. Is it? Not as a concept. Here you will not learn anything. Is it? If you just pick up the concept, I am the self, I am God, I am awareness, all that is pointless. Is it? So all you have to do is follow where I'm pointing and to see where that is, what that is. without any preconception, without any prior judgment, and not allowing any prior knowledge to color your own direct insight. You're following what I'm saying so far? Is it?
Um, Only honest answer I can give is I'll try. It's a hard thing
Good,
for me to do,
good,
but
good,
yeah, I'll try.
good. In fact, it is the stopping of work. It is the stopping of effort. You see, what has been happening is that we are trying to reach it through our mind. We're trying to compute the answer of this problem. Who am I? Or how do I get freedom? You see? Now we found that using just the mind alone is not getting us there. At the limit of my intellect also, I have not come to this recognition of the self. You see? So there must be a deeper insight, an intuitive insight, which can be brought about through this simple, through your simple presence in Satsang. That is what we are trying to do. Now, if you make a project out of this, if you make a practice out of this, then it can seem like the journey is long. It can seem like, oh, I have so many tendencies, I have a past, I have ideas about how my future should be, you see, and all of these I have to work through. That is what many spiritual practices, many paths are suggesting. That you look at all your tendencies, you forgive your past, you let go of your grievances one by one. You see, that is one way to do it. Here, we are getting to the root of this because all of this is dependent on what? It is all dependent on you. If you were not there, you could not have had a past. If you were not there, you could not have had any tendencies. If you were not there, then you would not have a state of mind, whether it is happy or depressed. So the root of all of this existence is you. Now this you has been misunderstood. This you has been misunderstood and defined as if this you is a limited body, is a limited entity. If I ask you very naturally, you see, as if we are talking as friends, if I asked you, so who are you? What would you say?
I would say my name, and I would, I think, start to describe my many tendencies and my many idiosyncrasies.
So then let's go slowly. So first you would say your name. My name is Abhishek. Now,
Sorry,
if I were to ask you, whose name is this? Can you point to that one whose name this is?
Abhishek.
Yes. Whose name is Abhishek?
Mine.
Yes. So it points to what? Points to the body.
Yes.
This body is Abhishek. Is there anything else which is Abhishek? No? That is what? That is a part of the
Mind.
body.
Yes.
Now this mind is what? Is it a part of the body like the brain, or is it a separate entity?
I don't know.
So this Abhishek, as you rightly said, is usually defined as the body and the mind. Now the, the baby that was born to your parents, that was named Abhishek, correct? At whatever age it was named Abhishek. Now what is common between that baby that was born and this one that is here?
The body.
Our body, every cell has changed. Every few years, every cell of the body has changed. So that baby body which was born is no longer here. Is it? It's that old example of the ship of Theseus. Have you heard it?
No.
There's a ship in ancient Greece or Rome. There's one ship, a famous ship called the ship of Theseus. Now, what is happening is that this ship is getting old, and one by one, every part of the ship is being changed, is being replaced. One part is gone, new part is put. After a few years, nothing of the original part is there. Nothing of the original parts of that ship is there. Everything has been replaced. Now, is it still the same ship of Theseus?
And,
We still call it, yes, this is the ship of Theseus. But what made that ship 10 years ago and this ship 10 years later? There is no part in common between the two. In the same way, every part of this body has been changed. What is that which has remained constant? That is what we are looking at. And don't worry, you don't have to find all the answers right now. I'm just seeding all these questions in you so that something can flower on the basis of these questions. Now, you said, I am the body and I am the mind. Is it? Now, the mind is even more fleeting. The mind is what? It is a bundle of thoughts and similar energies like memory, imagination, all of these energy constructs. Let's put it in one terminology called mind. Now, this is also constantly changing. A thought is there, it has a certain quality. You see, 10 years ago, if I asked you, what is it that you believe in? Who is it that you are? What type of person are you? You would have given a different answer. Today, you would give a different answer. So, all our thoughts, all our beliefs, all our value system also has changed over a period of time. Neither is constant. Is it? And yet, the sense that I am Abhishek has remained constant. Is it? So, the sages have said if we are looking for the truth, we must find that one which is unchanging. The definition of reality, according to the sages of Vedanta, is to find that which is the unchanging one. So that is what we are looking for. That is one clue. The second clue is to find this unchanging one, we must look for that which witnesses everything that changes. Don't get intimidated by any of this. I'm just giving you the main pointers, and we have all the time. As many satsangs as you like. I'm just here for this direct inquiry. So don't worry about it being a rush or whether you're taking too much time or what anyone is thinking. Nothing is your concern about any of this. Okay? So we said we've got two clues now. That which is changing is not my real self, is not reality, but to find that which is the unchanging, I have to find that which witnesses everything that changes. So this way we start the inquiry. What is it that witnesses the changing thoughts? What is it that witnesses the movement of the world, the movement of the body? Would you agree that everything in the world is changing?
so there is something that I would like to say here.
Yes, yes.
In that, in this inquiry, I'm probably like a student who already knows the answers to the questions, to some of the questions, and they are not from an awareness. They are from a
Yes,
bunch of knowledge that my father has already told me.
exactly, exactly.
So
So,
I will say the
yes,
answers, I will say the right answers, but they
very
will
well
not.
spotted. Very well spotted. But already you know that those answers, which are not from your direct insight, are completely worthless. It's like saying I am a Martian or I am alien from some other planet. You see, it doesn't really matter. because it's just a concept. If you have learned the answer, I am awareness, how does it help in any way when life is slapping us about? It doesn't help anyone, isn't it? So it is the concept of the answer will not help. It is an inner insight, the intuitive. In fact, the answer is completely worthless, but the looking is very valuable. You see? So the point of this question, unlike questions in school and college, is that I'm not looking for the right answer. The right answer is worthless. No teacher will tell you that. But I can tell you that the right answer is worthless because there is no right answer. Okay? But the process of looking, the searching for this self, who am I, that is useful. You see? So this, if there's a little inclination for this kind of inquiry of looking, then it's very straightforward. Then we don't have to go through the auxiliary processes of any other practice or chanting or hatha yoga or any other thing. Nothing we have to do. It is all just taken care of in this. Because you know what is the root of all suffering? The root of all suffering is the notion that you have about yourself.
I can relate to that.
Yes. So, if you had no notion about yourself, you could not suffer. You could still experience pain. You could still experience pleasure. But that which we call psychological suffering, that is impossible. For psychological suffering, there must be an idea that you have about yourself. And once you have an idea about yourself, then you have ideas about how the world should be. Because if you are X, then the world has to be Y. If you are none of that, then the world can be any which way, and it doesn't bother us. Now, where does this prime notion come from? That I am something.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yes. I said to suffer, you must have a notion about yourself, an idea about yourself.
Yes.
Is it? Now, what is this idea? Where does it come from? If I tell you another secret, I can tell you that in this very moment, you are free from all notions about yourself. And therefore, in this very moment, you are not suffering.
Like right now?
In this very moment, if I don't give you a moment even to think, you are not suffering. Is it? And I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to all of you. I know this because in this moment, there is no suffering. To suffer, you must have a notion. You must have a concept. Is it? So where does this concept come from?
It comes from an awareness of myself.
It comes from an awareness
Of myself.
of yourself. Does it come from the awareness, or does it come to that from the same what you pointed to earlier, which was this mind? What is the mind? We said it is a bundle of thoughts and similar energy. Is it? So now wait for the next thought to come. Wait for the next motion to come. And if it is there, if that little bit of courage is there, expose it. Whatever the thought might be.
It's a sentence that came to my mind.
What came?
It was a sentence that came to my mind.
Yes.
What
And
should I
what was?
think about? What should I think about?
What should I think about? You see, you're getting a lot of tips. So one tip is if you try to fight the mind, if you say I should not get thoughts, then you'll find thought, thought, thought. The minute you start inquiring like this, I say wait for your next thought to come. It seems like the mind sometimes runs out of words. It's like that which had so much to say. When you say, okay, come on, tell me, what is it you want to say? Suddenly it seems to go quiet or becomes very docile. Even the quality of the thoughts become very docile. that which was the tormentor, okay, tormenting. And you say, okay, come, bring it on, what you want. You see? Becomes a meek pet, becomes so light. You see? So invite these thoughts to come and notice what happened and tell me what happened.
Nothing.
The thought is coming. Huh? Suppose the thought is saying, Abhishek, you're not understanding anything, man. What, how can you engage with this thought?
I could choose to accept it or reject it. Or accept it or not.
Yes. You see, that is very good what you say. So there are two powers that interact with this thought. First is the power of attention. When it has attention, it seems to have a solid appearance. It seems to really be perceived. If it doesn't have your attention, it's just like a light, you see, light breeze when nobody realized what it had, what the content was. Okay? So the first power is attention. The second power, which you rightly identify, is the power of belief. The thought is proposing an idea to you, and there is a primal power that you have as consciousness itself, whether to give your assent to that thought or whether to not give assent to that. If you see this, you see, then you're already seeing Bhagwan's words. Like Bhagwan said, the only seeming choice you have is whether to go along with what your thought is saying or not. You see? Don't worry about the word seeming right now. I'll explain that to you soon. So the only seeming choice you have is to go along with your next thought or not. Now we already said that till you go along with the thought, unless you buy a notion from the mind, you cannot suffer. Can you try it and show me? Try to suffer without having any concept. Possible?
Well, and if I'm not aware, if I'm not aware of myself, if I'm not aware that I am in context, I'm in the picture, then all of that doesn't exist. The thoughts don't exist, the beliefs don't exist. It's a it's another dimension, I think.
Yes. Now, uh, we don't have to jump the gun at all. We have all the time. Is it? Because what these things that I'm telling you are going to become your primal skills in a way. You can see that what is the root of all suffering, what are the powers of attention and belief. You see? Now, I would completely agree with what you are saying about awareness if it was coming from a place of true insight. Okay? Now, it is just sounding like a short circuiting mechanism. That if I just see that I am awareness, then nothing really can bother me. Okay? So, is this from your insight or is this something you heard from dad?
To be honest, I'm overloaded with so much information. I don't know which is which.
Just repeat, my dear. I'll mute while you speak.
So I said, to be honest, I'm overloaded with so much information that I don't know which is which.
So now, dad has to stop bothering you first. Let him pay attention to what I'm saying. Secondly, forget about anything you heard from anybody. Okay? It has no value right now in this moment. It has no value. Just forget about it. You see? Because this is not that kind of exam. It's not an exam at all. You see? Just leave it. Just leave it. Okay? So, I'm telling you a very, very important secret. The secret to suffer Okay? The secret to suffer, I'm explaining to you. Because your natural state is not suffering. But the secret to suffer, which you have been doing almost as if inadvertently, you're feeling like it is happening inadvertently. I'm just suffering, I'm tired of it, and I want freedom from it. But you have been suffering in this way because we have got, all of humanity has got addicted to believing what the thoughts are saying about you. Is it? And satsang is a rehab for that addiction. And you will soon see that whatever the thought might be saying about you has no basis. And the good news about that is that without this assent to a thought, without this belief to a thought, you cannot suffer. So this is very, very important when there is openness and you want to come to the end of suffering. I'm telling you that in this moment you are not suffering. But the mind will come and say, but something, but something, but something. You can just allow the but to come and go. Don't serve it tea. Then no trouble. If there are some buts which you cannot allow them to go, they seem to have to be so magnetic that you feel like I just end up believing them. Is there something like that which occurs to you? Something which causes you the most suffering about yourself?
I think it's the instinct, uh, fears mostly. The fears, because right, the thoughts. I think they are so automated in those scenarios. I think the thoughts and beliefs over the years are so automated. I could not phrase them for you right now. It's on autopilot, and it's nothing more than a feeling. Sometimes a very strong feeling that it's like, it's like a wave that I'm only human and I'm standing in an ocean. As much as I try, as much as a good swimmer I might be, I don't have a choice. They will always carry me to the shore, and I'll find myself lying there.
Yes.
It's like that.
No human, no person can swim across this ocean of samsara. No human can do it. Nobody has ever been able to do it. Those that have appeared externally that they have done it, those that appear externally to have done it, have come to the recognition that the ocean is just the moving part of themselves. There is no separate entity which is swimming in the ocean. So they have come to this recognition that even beyond this ocean I am. The ocean of samsara is nothing but the moving aspect of my own being. Is it? Now, all of these might sound very big words to you, very fancy initially, but if you continue with this openness, they will become your direct insight. You will be able to say these words about yourself, but not with a sense of specialness, from an innocent insight. Yes? So that is what satsang is about. It is not about swimming across the ocean of samsara, but transcending the ocean of samsara and seeing already that I am beyond that. So, so that I told you my first pointer, which is that you need a thought to suffer. Papaji said, to be happy, you need nothing. But to be unhappy, you definitely need one thought. So this is as simple as that. And the good news is that in this moment, whatever you might have believed in the past, you are empty of that. Till the next offer comes from the mind. And you buy into that offer, and it seems like the entire garbage can is back. The entire pool of conditioning is back. The entire tree of tendencies is back. Is it? Okay, you spoke about fear. This is like a good primer satsang for anyone. Okay, so this is very good that you are asking these questions. Now, even with fear, there is so much space within your being that if the entire world's fear was to be experienced, it would not shake you. even with fear, the only trouble is our interpretation of that fear, our judgment about that fear, our idea that even the idea that this is fear, even the label fear, actually fear, if you taste it just energetically, you know what I mean when I say taste it energetically? Means don't interpret it. Don't interpret it. Just feel it. Just experience it. Just taste it. You will find that energetically, it is not so troublesome. Guruji takes a very good example of this. He says, we are so scared of fear. You see? But if you just look at it energetically, you will find that it's not so different from the feeling of excitement that you might feel before a good event that you're looking forward to. Yeah? This excitement of going on a whatever excites you, going on a holiday, something, is not so different from that which we call fear. But it is this interpretation, this label, which makes us fear the fear. Oh, fear should not come because fear is something difficult to deal with. And yet, when we feel the happy, joyful excitement, when we feel like, I'm feeling so good. But if you were to look at it just energetically, on the energetic spectrum, it is not so different from each other. So don't fear the fear. Anything is allowed to come. Anything is allowed to come. Nothing can overtake you unless you believe in interpretation of it.
So, as I understand, you're saying you have to be comfortable with being afraid.
Yes, that's another way to put it. It's a nice way to put it. See?
And
Just,
the
just,
second thing that I understood is, sorry, the second thing that I understood is you're saying that when you say energetically, you mean just experience it like a feeling, like an emotion, but
yes,
without any belief and without any thoughts.
yes, yes. Because what has been happening in all our life is that we have been meeting the world through the lens of our mind.
Yes.
See? You meet somebody new. Already the mind is giving you strategies. You see, now say this to this one. If you notice, before you step into a restaurant, your mind is already saying when you walk up to the waiter or the waiter comes to you, this is how you're going to order. You see, the mind is already creating strategies. If you meet somebody new, the mind is already judging. Oh, this one looks like this. This one looks like this one. Oh, this one doesn't look so nice. This one, you see? So we are not meeting life as it is. We're meeting it through the filter of this mind. So already the person has come close to you, and already you have a preconceived notion about what you're meeting. So this I call the Xerox copy or the photocopy. We have been experiencing life in the photocopy version based on the mind's interpretation of it. I say often that I never even saw a flower till I met my master. I had never seen it. I had only met an idea of it. You see, immediately something comes, the mind's interpretation comes, and this is what we are buying. You see, we get so involved quickly here that we lose what is in front of us, even sensorily. You see? So, what I said about fear applies to the rest of life also. We don't need this tiny tool to taste life to its fullest. In fact, those who are tasting it completely, properly, are doing it without this lens, without this filter, without this mask. So the purpose of this mind is to convince you that you are a limited body mind, you are a limited self, you are a limited entity, that which we call the person or the ego. You see? That is the design of consciousness. It wanted to taste this world as if it is a limited ego. So it gave itself this tool called the mind. Now, something brings you to satsang. You might feel like it is your dad which brings you to satsang, but nobody has been so long and so open in satsang unless there was already some deeper longing for this truth. You see? So, whatever the external mechanism might seem, there are deeper forces at work here when someone comes to satsang. It is consciousness itself saying, I'm done with my limited play. I'm done with my limited idea about myself. And I'm open to this exploration of something which is beyond these limitations. You see? So That is what is at play here. That is what is functioning here. So you will find that you cannot suffer, you cannot pick up a limited notion about yourself. Nothing will be too overwhelming. Nothing will truly shake you up unless you mix the mental judgment or interpretation with it. Now, what to do with this interpretive mind? If you can, allow it to just come and go. Don't intervene as much as you can. Allow it to just. You see, there are times in which something will be picked up, even for the sages. Don't believe anyone who tells you that I don't believe a single thought that comes to me. It is not true. Even the sages do, even Ram did it, Krishna did it, everyone has done it. Okay? But when that is picked up, individuality has been experienced, it is dropped very quickly with no sense of guilt. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. My master said, don't pick up that thought. See now, I am unworthy. I can't do this. It is too difficult for me. See? Then we picked up the salad. Then we pick up the main course and the dessert also because of that salad. You pick up the salad, eat the salad. It is fine. But don't pick up the unworthy idea about yourself. Don't pick up guilt about yourself. You see? And if you pick up guilt about yourself, then also, no worry. You're fresh now. In every moment, you are fresh. You see? So nothing is stronger than your being in the present moment. In this moment, you are fresh of all prior conditioning. Say something.
But then what about decision? If,
Yes.
if you say that I'm not allowed to pick up a thought and my instincts have left me because of the very thing you're telling me, because of trying to control too much or using my mind. I think I was trying to solve this maze for a long time and I don't know if I tried to solve it or not, but it the maze came into existence nonetheless. And it showed up like a sneaky thief that sometimes said hi occasionally, like a gorilla. Those guys, that gorilla guys that hide, come, attack, and then go and hide again. And as soon as you ask them to come out, they will not show their face. And
I like guerrilla warfare. Now, don't worry about this response. It is quite natural for it to come. In fact, 99% of the time when I say this is the usual response. It has many different words, you see, which is that, oh, but then what is going to happen to my life? Who is going to run my life? And my half joking answer usually is that in the previous way, how has it been going so far? Has it been so good?
not as per my expectations at all.
Exactly. So if that way has not worked, we can experiment with this way for a day or two, and see what happens. That much is enough. You see?
I mean,
If
at this point,
if a particular strategy has got us to a point where we are depressed, we want to escape, we want freedom, we are tired of the me, all of that which you're reporting, then try a new strategy. You see, because the fear will come, but how will I make decisions? How will I run my life? You see, this is a very common fear. It comes. So this fear actually, like Guruji says, is the fear of saying that if I hand over my existence to God, He is just going to make a mess of it. As if we have done such a good job of it so far. You see? So I know that this kind of fear coming up is natural, and that's why I say don't worry about it. I'm just saying try it for a day. Till we meet next, try it for 1 or 2 days, and you come and report how it went. See? Right? And what is there to try? It is just a simple space of openness, a simple allowing. Whatever the mind might be saying, come and go. You are not to take a position. Is it? So if the mind is saying, open the door, you are not believing the opposite thought, which is like, don't open the door. Ananta, I said, don't believe my thought, because that is also believing a thought. You see? What I'm saying, and this is a little bit subtle, because we are used only to opposites. You see? Mind says, open the door, therefore I must not open the door. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying, allow the thought, open the door to come and go. Now, whether the opening of the door happens or not is up to a higher force, is up to life, is up to consciousness. Because we are actually testing whether there is a God, isn't it? We're testing if there is something called consciousness or life. So far, we're believing that it is me. It is me that is running this. Now we're testing an alternative theory that there is a higher force than I ever considered to be myself running this life. That one doesn't need a thought to function, to run life. That one is the originator of even thought. So, so in this way, now the thought can come, open the door. Whether the door opening happens or not is up to consciousness. But we are not to take the opposite position also. Many make that mistake. When they hear this pointing, don't believe your next thought, it can feel like, oh, I must do the opposite. I must look up. Mind is saying this, so now I did this. Mind said go right because the shop is there, so I went left because because the thought is lying. You see, it is not lying about phenomenality. It is lying about who you are and who is running this life. You see? That is the discovery that you will make, which is also called non-dualship. That which you consider to be the doer, that which you consider to be the decision maker, has never been that which we consider ourselves to be. All is a movement within consciousness. But you cannot take my word for it. I want everything I say to become your own insight. But to make it your own insight, you have to play with it a bit. You have to experiment with it a bit in a playful manner, in a playful, happy, joyous manner. Just see what happens if you allow thoughts to come and go. I mean, even if your report next time is, yes, it was nice, to allowed for some time for it to go, but then thought about something came and it really got me and I really suffered. Even that is fine. You might feel like, sometimes some feel like more suffering came, but it's not that. It's actually, we become more sensitive. We are seeing more clearly what is happening. So don't worry about any of this and just see if you can come to the simple open space of allowing most of your thoughts to just come and go. It's an old Zen saying, allow these visitors called thoughts to come and go. You don't serve them tea. So don't serve them tea only means don't give them your belief. Don't identify with them. You see how that goes. And I want to hear your report on this experiment, and then I can take you even further. So we'll go like this. Shall we go like this? Very good. Very good. Thank you. Okay, next, Niranjan wants to come. Niranjan can come.
Hello.
Namaste, my dear.
Okay.
I'm going to mute while you speak.
Yes. Okay, so Father, what I have observed for last few days or so, it's like kind of energy, vague energy that I'm searching. Like energy of search. I'm searching something, but it's not very clear. I don't know what I am searching for, but I'm searching something. And because of that, I don't find contentment. The contentment. I'm not satisfied. maybe I have some checklists, like, you know, if this happens, then I'm free, or then I'm something. And maybe there is a subtle idea that I can find freedom or truth somewhere down the line, somewhere in future, sometime, someday, but not now. So, like, I am watching videos, all the videos, all the time I'm watching videos, and but still I'm moving, I'm moving to future. Like, I'm looking for something, but I don't know what I'm looking. So sometimes it feels like this is a ghost. It's kind of a trick. Like, if I try to inquire, like, what am I searching for, there is no definite answer for that. Or like, who is searching? And also there are no answers for this. But there is a search. That much I can see.
Okay, let's look at this. You say that I've been observing myself for the last few years, and I find that there's this energy of a search. And because it is constantly searching here and there, everywhere, including watching a lot of Satsang video, you see, to try and get something. And in the searching, it is taking me away from the contentment. Now, this is the energetic manifestation, we can use the word without taking it too seriously, of the seeker identity. You see, the seeker has become is actually just like this, always like, what can I find? Am I finding my freedom? Where do I go? With satsang, who will tell me? You see, and yet, what is the sage saying? Find that which already is. What is it that you are right now? Now, you said that the answer is not forthcoming. When I ask who is searching or who am I, you say that the answer is not forthcoming, which means the concept of the answer is not coming. You see? Now, this is actually good news. It is very frustrating for the mind, but in reality, it is good news. That means you're done with all the fake answers about it. You see? Those answers which used to satisfy you earlier, even the answers which had the terminology of satsang earlier and used to be satisfactory earlier, they are not satisfactory anymore. Is it? So you have to tell me now live, if you have to check now, who are you? What is it you find?
Actually, I don't know. I don't know who am I, because mind comes up with all the answers that I'm so and so. But the one which is seeing this, or at least I cannot describe it.
Yes, it's very good. I know that many of you, when you report, I don't know. It can sound like the most terrible news, and you do it with a lot of almost grief. Oh, I don't know who I am. You see, but it's the best news. It's the best news. To come to this I don't know is the most important thing. It's the most important thing. Because we have known something which is false. We have lived with the false notion of ourselves. You see? And many coming to spirituality pick up more notions about themselves and can feel like, I used to have the right answer. Maybe in your case also we can say, yeah, you picked up maybe at the right answers at some point. You see? But now even those are discarded. Now you are in this I don't know. Yet you exist or not.
Yes, yes, that is definite.
Yes. Yet I don't know who I am. Yet
But I
existence is
am.
I am. Very good. I don't know who I am, but I am. Very good. Very. Now, what is aware that you are?
I am.
This I, this I, what can you say about it? Is this also conceptual? Is this a notion you have that you are
No, because concepts I can see.
exactly concept you can see, world you can see, body you can see, ultimately even your existence you are aware of. Is any of this spoken mentally from for you? Okay, let me
No,
make it simpler. That you are aware of your existence. You say, I know that I am, or I am aware that I am. Is this just a theoretical notion that you heard in Satsang, or it's your direct insight from right now?
no, it's direct insight because theoretical notions I have known enough of them.
Exactly.
Mind, I have known enough that from the mind.
Very good. So it's your direct insight that you are aware of even your own existence. Is it? Now, this you that is aware of its existence is you. Now, is there another you?
There is a story of me, but that is not me.
Yes. The story of me is never me. Just a story.
Maybe I have believed into
Now,
this
you did
story
not
so
do
much.
anything. Huh? Huh?
Maybe I have believed into this story so much that I sometimes it feels I cannot let go of it. Like I don't have a context. It feels like out of context.
Yes. Yes. This is exactly the condition. This is exactly the condition. That is why we have satsang every day because we did nothing special. I asked you some very simple questions and you saw that this is true. Anyone who is a little open can come to this point. But what happens is that the story, the conditioning has been believed for so long, it seems to carry its own momentum. That is called the habit or the addiction. You see? That's why as we come to satsang more and more, when we are coming to this, reminded to come to this insight again and again, then the story will start becoming more and more laughable. Till then, it seems like a strong addiction, is it? But but once you see that nothing the mind is saying truly applies to me, like you're seeing it now, is it? Every day a little bit of this, you're a doctor, a little dose of this every day, with the same openness with which you followed the question, you will see that more and more what the mind is saying has become laughable. Now, maybe the trouble that you're having is that even the satsang that you are watching on YouTube or however you're watching, you're watching with the mask of the me. Is it? Trying to find something for this me, trying to grasp something, which is the seeker identity. Is it? That this me will get it. Finally, one day I will get it. That one itself is the trickster. Is it? It is the thief, posing as if it wants to catch the thief. Is it? Now, like you did right now, any satsang is like this. It's the same question. Whether you're hearing Guruji speak, you're hearing me speak, we're asking the same thing, isn't it? How are you able to see it so clearly now in this moment? Because you dropped even that notion of me getting somewhere, getting it finally, holding on to it. Well, this was forgotten for a second. And you say, yes, I am aware of my existence. This awareness remains unconcerned, no matter what the movement of life might bring. That is freedom. You found it now. So the recognition of it is so simple, is it? And yet it is this prior conditioning. It can seem to have so much momentum that we need this alarm clock again and again. It seems like we go back to sleep again, then again alarm clock comes. We go back to sleep, alarm clock comes. Is it? But nothing additionally has been given to you. All is already there. You are full and complete in this moment. Is it? Now the mind will sell you the notion of your limitedness. Is it? And anytime you believe yourself to be limited, you will search for something to complete you. Be it a relationship, be it money, be it freedom, enlightenment, liberation, anything. Is it? Because in your heart you know that you are not limited, but the mind will convince you you are limited, but you can become full if you had the perfect partner. You will become full if you find enlightenment. You will become full if you had more money. You see, all these are just motions. You are complete right now when you don't wear any mask, when you don't pick up a mask. And what did you do? You just check who is aware of my existence. I exist. I am. What knows this? What is aware of this? Nothing mental, no concept was needed, no learning, no knowledge. It didn't matter how many satsangs you've attended. None of that mattered. You just saw. It is so plain.
Father, this I amness, it feels like everything. When I check, it is like everything. I am everything. But what happens is that sometimes, I project myself into thoughts, like, in virtual reality, like VR. You have a character there. And when I project myself into the thoughts and imagination, and these are most of the times negative. So, that like hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness, all those negative things. And at the same time, I am aware of these things happening. But somehow, maybe somehow, it
Now,
is believed then.
to observe what is happening now. The mind has pulled you back in the same conundrum. You see? In the same chakra view. And then it feels like, no, I have to cross through this battle. You see? Nothing, forget it. Forget it. Yes, forget it. Nothing is stuck. You are existing effortlessly and you are aware of it. These two fundamentals can never change. You see? No matter what the mind is saying, you might have some report about something, prior condition, and this is what happens to I am, and all of that. You see? It's just the same trick of the mind. You said something very beautiful. You said, this I am is everything. It is everything. All there is I am. All there is consciousness. You see? But the mind's job is to convince you that this which is everything is something, is limited, has something lacking, has somewhere to go. Now this is the eternal con. You see, eternal con job. This is the design of this play of consciousness. It is created for itself this con artist called the mind to play as if I am a limited entity. Because 1 minute of investigation shows you that this being has no limit, has no boundary. Every boundary is experienced within it. Therefore, the boundary cannot contain it. It contains the boundary. You see? You are seeing that in a minute of investigation. And yet, the mind is so tricky. It will give you some notion and say, maybe this is now what I have to do. This is what's happening to me. You see, and the me is back. Mr. Me is back. It started by saying, I am everything. And it even turned that into back to the story of Mr. Me. You see, this is the trickiness of the mind. This is why we need satsang. Just to remind you that where you started was good enough. I am everything. I am not even everything. I not even am. Finished. Story finished. Now look at the smile on his face.
Perhaps I have known this all the while.
Yes.
Some sort of deep knowing was always there.
Okay.
Even while in the episodes of suffering, somewhere I knew that
Of
I'm
course.
taking this.
Of course. That is why we call it the play of consciousness. If consciousness actually one day forgot who it was, there's no hope. If God only forgot, it is God really in actuality, not in the play, not in the pretense, not in the mask. Then there's no way out. Why? My job is simple. Because this is never to be forgotten. All it takes is a minute of looking, and the recognition is. We have always known this truth. We have always known it. But we have chosen to play as an individual, as a limited ego, as part of the play of consciousness. That's why I call it the play. It's a beautiful word because it is the pretense, it is the facade, it is never reality.
Yes, it cannot become reality ever because I have to be there first before
Yes,
it comes.
yes,
Only when I believe, seemingly when I believe myself to be something else, then everything comes. But but even that cannot change this reality.
yes. That's why it is only a pretense, only a play, only a mask. Even when the belief comes that I am something, I am is just am.
Thank you for that.
So, so Namaste, Father. This state is effortless. Here I have only one thorn. That is, being is not timeless. After the body drops, let the one that is timeless be concerned. You say, I have one thorn. That is the grandchild of that which is timeless. That is dependent on being. And that one is trying to understand the nature of being. You see, the grandson is trying to figure out the birthplace of the grandfather. Better to forget it. Then someone says, almost missed the satsang. Oops, sorry.
Father,
No, no, wait.
Father, read the second para also.
Okay, I'll see it later. So another message is almost missed the satsang. Just want to say that I just realized surrender had already happened to you. I don't know when. It was just the person throwing tantrums all these days with all the arrogance and resistance. Almost missed the satsang. Just want to say that I just realized surrender had already happened to you. I don't know when. It was just the person throwing tantrums all these days with all the arrogance and resistance. All I'm doing is allowing the surrender to happen more and more. I have been meeting you in a very intimate way, sharing the silent space of awareness. Message from Rahul. Okay. Yes, a bit of the resistance is very natural. It's bound to come. The mind can have many ideas about who our master should be, what they should be like, then we realize that no matter what the outer expression might be, there is actually only one master, which is your own intuitive presence. It is your own heart that you are surrendering to. These outer forms will change, as with everything else in the world. Nothing is constant. But your surrender is actually happening to your own presence. In that way, I am not concerned. As long as there is surrender for any beautiful sage, any beautiful form of the master, as long as they are pointing you to the truth about who you are, the master is happy. It doesn't matter whether you come to Ananta or you go to Nimkaroli Baba or you go to Anand Mahima or you go to anything. This Ananta is just a servant at his father's feet. Nimkaroli Baba led me to you. It's the same essence which is guiding you to your own self. In this play of this outer play of Guru and disciple, rather going through legal fights now, slight worry is there, but it should be okay. Yes, everything is going to be just fine. Okay, request your light on this. This beingness and awareness is complete in itself. But mind says that this is the reality of I am, not before the I am. Listen, you forget about it. Okay, stay where? Here. You know what is here, no? The camera is not panning there yet, but you know who's there. You stay there and don't go on any of these expeditions and don't go on any of these ideas that you will understand this one day. You won't. Yes, forget it. You, which you consider yourself to be, will not get it. And that which I am pointing you to, my father's feet, you are it. Okay? This is the report I want to hear from you. Father, you pointed me to your father's feet all of these years, months, whatever time it has been. Where I went, I found it is my own being, my own Atma is my father's feet. Don't go on any expedition of trying to figure out anything. This is just your mind's way of distracting you. The mind is like a child. It has no idea of really even the phenomenal world. You can feel like, oh, if I get this, or if I understand this, or if I speak like this, then I will really get it, and people will recognize that I got it. No, it doesn't happen like that. Anything which your mind can say that this is the way to do it, just forget about it. Because my father knows the way to do it, he is doing it. There is no intervention from this intellectual mind.
Thank you, Father. This was the last question I had. After this, I have absolutely no question.
I'm recording this part and I'm keeping it, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
It has been always like this. Total completeness.
Okay,
But
Nitya, I'm serious this time. I say it almost every day. But this time, we will make a recording of this. And anytime I mean, say something, we're just going to play that recording.
yeah, sure. Sure.
Like I said, the only report I want from you is that I truly came to your father's feet as you have been advising me to. I find this, I won't even repeat what I want you to say. You have to report back. This is what I see. From your true eyes, from your true ears, from your true inner intuitive insight. When the words will come, I will celebrate them with you. Till then, I will keep chopping them every day if it has to be.
Father, no words will come from there. It
Okay.
will only be a gratitude.
Okay.
Holding hands
Very
like this.
now you are presuming again. You are presuming. Not even this. Not even this. Don't even know what should happen.
Yes, I understand what you are saying.
Very good.
Be the silence. Don't say I am silent.
Said the one who just said all this.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I know what you are saying. I know what you are saying. I know. I know. Sorry. Sorry. I know.
It's a habit. Isn't it funny? You go on Facebook or any social media platform and you find so many people saying be silent, be silent. But why you have to say it if you're being silent?
Yes, Father. That is the thing actually. That it's a habit actually.
It's a habit.
Because one who is silent will not even speak.
You're doing it again, you know that. This is how consciousness behaves.
You know, my MD, my CEO,
Don't want
everybody
to know.
use.
Don't want to know.
Okay,
To this
okay, 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 okay.
no story is worthier than my father's feet. I am there, you meet me there, you don't have to speak a single thing. You sing something? Aman will sing. Aman sang for us the other day. He knows only Coldplay. so, so Radha will sing first and then we'll see what happens after that. Hello, Kido. I'm saying hi today. Hi. You okay? Are you reading the Ramayana? Sure.
Reading Mahabharata, you read.
Who's your favorite in all these stories? Who you like the most? Ram. Very good. I also grew up liking Ram the most. It's a good one. You're close to the end. It's a good one. That day, Drishti invited us to her place, and it was like a Diwali celebration in some way. So I felt that I want to share because some might not know what Diwali is about. I'll take the Ramayana. There is a Ramayana in the library. Presumably, there was a Ramayana in the library. So I went there and looked. There's a thick set of books. And I went there and looked and I couldn't find it. And I was wondering who would want to take away these thick Ramayana books when they find anything else to take. Then I go to Drishti's house and I don't know if I should broadcast. I go to Drishti's house and I didn't find the Ramayana in the library. So she said, Pa, it is what we're using to.
Oh, oh my god. So sweet.
It's a substratum of Satsang.
Oh.
So these big books which are propping up the computer are beautiful Ramayana.
No.
What else is coming in Shunyam?
She just sent me the songs yesterday because I forgot the lyrics. I'm supposed to write the lyrics, especially the ones that you gave. I just can't remember what. I've been listening to the Om Namah Shivaya. It's just so. Can you just listen? No,
I don't know what it
no, probably on the broadcasting.
is. Try singing. I can't just move the computer towards you. Oh, it's okay.
I don't know what I'm saying. Please
What
tell
all
me.
is there in that album? Besides the one that we composed?
There's
And
Ashtakam, to Shiva. There's Tvameva Mata. I can sing that actually. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वमं देवदेव. Thank you, Father. Thank you. Thank you. गुरु गोविंद दो खड़े काके लागो पाए बलिहारी गुरु आपने गोविंद दियो मिलाए.
What if we just ended satsang like this? Just vanish. Oh, there she is. Thank you all so much for being in satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
सद्गुरु श्री अनंत जी की जय.